Hello everyone, we have a different style YouTube video coming today. This is kind of going to be highlighting from before the stores even opened up until present day. We're going to highlight a lot of goods, a lot of bads.
We have definitely had a successful 2.5 years of business, and we definitely appreciate all of the support and all the business. We appreciate all the opportunity that we've been given to grow to this level. I mean, I think we can all agree that this store has achieved way more than we all would have thought in the first place. And that's all thanks to everyone who has been supporting us anyway along this journey. This video, we talk about a lot of good, but we also talk a lot about the bad things that have happened in our experiences. And it's just like the reality of behind the scenes of owning your own business. And a lot of these topics haven't been the easiest for us to talk about.
We talked about doing this for a long while.
At least a year.
This video took a long time to make, so make sure you drop a like, comment below. Also, grab your popcorn, it's gonna be a long video. Let's get into it. I just spilled it everywhere.
Oh, down my face.
Great intro.
Alright. So, if you guys don't know, if it's your first time watching us on YouTube, we're Vintage Meets Hype. We have a sneaker and clothing store in Waterloo, Ontario. We sell streetwear, vintage, and sneakers, new and used, a little bit of everything. That's kind of us. We've been open for about 2.5 years now, and we're all about 23 years old, 22 to 23 years old.
I'm Paige.
Nick?
Jamie. And this is Vintage Meets Hype.
This was started eventually just me in the store every day. And we opened in August of 2020, sorry, May of 2020.
June of 2020.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm looking at my little note sheet down here, so I try to get my dates in line. So original opening date was supposed to be May 15th. We ended up opening June 19th because COVID was going on at the time. And that was the first ever date that we were able to open.
How long did you stockpile like inventory until opening day?
That'd be a really good question. You know what? Let me grab my phone just 1 second. February 20th, 2021 was the first, at least photo I have of inventory started to be stockpiled. So the other key component is I never really was reselling before the store opened. I know a lot of resellers are kind of like huge Instagram resellers, and then they just jump into a store when they have like 10K followers and like an established following. Yeah. This was complete opposite. We had the Instagram started probably on the same day that picture was taken with the first inventory like being accumulated.
Yeah, and I remember that red carpet, that shag carpet that you had in your parents' basement that you would take photos on.
Yeah,
like,
we had 1,000 followers
so
on June 17th, which was 2 days before the store opening. That's just kind of puts in perspective how it was.
Were you selling stuff before the store opened?
No.
Or you just
no, you
I
were.
think actually
You
no.
were.
I was selling stuff here and there just to kind of get by because at this point we were delayed. So May 15th was supposed to be the initial open date, and that's when the lease was already signed, I believe.
When did you sign the initial lease?
I would before May 15th because if I was going to open it,
Probably like April. Right?
April. I'd say probably April. I think I quit my job. Hold up. April 16th, 2021 was my last day of my old job. I handed my 2 weeks before. Look at my note.
Nice. That'll be on the screen.
Yeah, we'll put those in.
Hilarious.
Actually, shout out 519 Vintage because he was probably the first guy who was ever buying clothes off.
That's true.
Yeah,
We'll do
that
opening
was
day.
crazy.
We actually had a massive lineup.
Yeah.
Crazy like this. Obviously, we had 1,000 followers.
I have videos of that.
I have a couple of pictures as well. We had a huge lineup. Actually, a crazy turnout. Like it was
Wild.
I think we did like over 10K sales in the first day, which is actually nuts considering we had like not a real following.
No real promotion.
No real promotion either, honestly.
Yeah.
But to be fair, this was like the first streetwear ever stored to like. The name Vintage Meets Hype honestly comes from the fact that we were selling vintage clothing and hype clothing, and it was getting mixed into one. And that was kind of the whole process, like thought behind this name. It actually like is we kind of sell exactly what the name says. We sell a little bit of everything in between, and that was kind of the whole thought behind this. And there's never been a streetwear store in Waterloo that sells sneakers, Supreme, Vape, anything like along those lines. So we had a really good reception when we first opened.
So why did you think to open though? Because you were shopping at stores in Toronto and Hamilton for streetwear and everything, because that's like what you were into.
And I was also always reselling vintage clothing. I've been reselling vintage clothing for a long time. We actually we'll pull up the 519 gear account if we have to. There's some listings from a long time ago selling vintage clothing.
Yeah.
Wait, you guys had a page together?
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
We used to go thrifting back in like high school, like I don't know, 2018 era. And we would be like reselling a little Instagram page. We actually did pretty good.
We did.
We actually sold a
Yeah.
lot of clothing back in the day.
Not a lot of people did it back then, I feel like.
No,
Yeah,
not
I
at
had a
all,
resale
so-
page.
Not even,
Yeah.
not even a lot of people did it when we first opened the first store initially, honestly.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
whole like reselling game of vintage,
It's
streetwear,
completely
everything.
changed.
Not even saying that we're early to it, but we're definitely earlier than a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like we're not like
We
no,
were.
we're no pioneers of like this
No.
like vintage or like streetwear reselling game, but we're definitely very early on in like a sense of what it is today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Definitely a head start.
All right, let's get to the not so good. We had a great start, obviously. Our June 19th was our grand opening day, and then we had our first break-in, which was July 1st. At this point, we don't really know how to. We're not really great with the security system. We don't have a lot of.
Yeah, I was just actually explaining this to Jamie upstairs
Yeah.
because
I don't think
like,
we actually even had.
we didn't-
We actually didn't even have a security system at this
No,
time.
we had the blink cameras.
The blink cameras. The
That's
cops
right.
actually woke us up in the morning
No,
saying the store got
you
broken
have to
into.
tell the full story. The full story.
I don't remember the full story.
I remember the full story. So the full story
You were
was
actually at the house.
Yes, I was with you. So this is when we first started dating because we started dating like June 19th or no June 16th. Sorry. So
June 19th, same shit.
what?
I don't really know.
Same
I thought
shit.
it was the 19th so anniversary.
It's the 16th. But anyways, we stayed up late drinking. We were out with your friends. We went out somewhere. Or
We were living a
It was
crazy.
Canada
We were
Day.
living a crazy lifestyle for this first 2 weeks. We were like
you,
first got our first touch of money, or we were like living we were living lavish.
we were up.
We were up in in that sense.
But no, I slept over at your parents' house and we stayed up late and then I remember your mom waking us up in the morning and we had like no sleep at this point. We had slept for maybe 2 hours. And your mom is screaming at us saying like, Nick, why are the cops here? What did you do? There's a cop car parked out front of the house. What did you do? Did you crash another car? Like, what did you do? And you were so pissed off because, again, we had no sleep. So you were like, shut the fuck up. I didn't do anything. And I, like, remember looking at you and I was like, what did you do? Like, what did you do? And you were like, I didn't do anything. And we were like, okay, we're just going to go back to bed. It's not for us. Whatever. So then we fell back asleep. And then she wakes us up again. She comes banging on the door. She's like, they're out of the car. They're at the door. Like, and then
Yeah.
your dad answered the door. And they were like, oh, does Nick Rhodes live here? And
First there.
and she was like, she's like, they're asking for you. You did something. And then they said to your dad, they're like, oh, like he's the owner of Vintage Meets Hype. And then like all of a sudden it clued into both of them that like you didn't actually do anything.
The story.
So yeah, then they were like, come downstairs right now.
Okay, a homeless person. They broke in. Whatever. I think they took about $5 grand worth of shit. Obviously, it was
No,
just.
no, it was more than that. It was 13 grand worth of stuff. That was the first insurance claim.
You sure?
Yeah, because they took a bunch of streetwear. They took consignment shoes. Remember the orange pearls? How we only had one?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they took pandas. They took a bunch of dunks.
That was probably when pandas were like $500 each.
It
but,
was.
like, still.
I remember them taking
Yeah.
all the vintage white
Yeah,
tees.
they
Dude, they
all
took
the white
all of
Right when the day before, me and Alex went out and
So
got a bunch of hard rock
Dude,
white
it was
tees.
13 Hard Rock tees. I won't actually
Dude.
forget that. They were actually crazy too, though.
They were good.
They were really good ones. Anyways, I took a shit ton of stuff. Like more than we wanted to lose. Obviously, within 2 weeks of us opening.
You don't want to lose anything.
Of course, you never want to lose anything. But that was definitely a wake-up call.
Yeah.
We got a security system after.
Yeah.
At that store, it was really tough because it was like it was on a corner kind of thing. So we had windows on
And a
both
side
sides.
street.
Yeah.
So we weren't on like a main street, so it was pretty like low key around there. We kind of had like a pathway beside our old store, so like you could kind of break into the store honestly and not really have anyone notice it.
Yeah.
And especially without an alarm system going off
Yeah.
or like real security, like it was an easy target. We learned that really quick. Obviously, we had no idea that this was even gonna happen. It was never something that really runs through your head. We had blinds going down, so you couldn't see into the store at night. We kind of thought that was enough. And we had blink cameras. Clearly, it wasn't. We got robbed within like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That was tick number one on my shitty insurance record.
Yeah.
Anyways, August 14th, we had 2,000 followers.
On Instagram.
Great
yeah.
little start. Every 1,000 followers doing a giveaway. Next highlight would be Black Friday though. We had another crazy kind of lineup kind of we did for the grand opening. Steals, deals. We
Yeah.
probably had double the amount of people coming to the Black Friday sale the next time. And at this point, obviously, that is November 25th. And then we run it back. December 26th, we had 4,000 followers. And at this point, it's very easy to gain followers on Instagram when you come into a resale store. There just wasn't a lot of people out. We were grinding crazy. I mean, I was grinding crazy, to be fair.
Yeah, it was just you at this point.
Yeah.
I was grinding like crazy by myself. Like, we were open It's 5 days a week. We weren't open 7 days a week, obviously, because I would have literally killed myself if I was working 7 days straight a week.
Yeah.
That wasn't possible, but.
And I still remember you texting me like a couple times being like, no one came in the store today. Like, you're like, I'm gonna stay here all night and figure out what I can do to make sure that the store is busy all day tomorrow. Like,
yeah.
And that's just how it was.
That's just how it was. I was literally doing this by myself. I quit my job. I didn't really have anything else to fall back on. I never really went to college or anything, so this is kind of all it was. And then Boxing Day, December 26th, rolls around. We have another huge sale that we do, and great turnout. Same thing. Going into 2022 on a strong start. We had 5,000 followers on January 18th, 6,000 followers April 19th.
And in between that, we went on a trip to Montreal, you and I, for Valentine's Day, and that would have been when you and Alex would have been covering the store.
And the store flooded. So,
yeah.
Obviously, you're loved to be in Montreal, chilling. First probably vacation since the store ever opened.
Yeah.
Definitely the first vacation. Probably the first time I ever had time to breathe. And I was also only closing Mondays and Tuesdays.
Yeah.
So I was getting the shittiest days off as being my only person. Like, no one wanted to do anything with me on Mondays and Tuesdays. So I was basically
Everyone else was
I had
working.
every other Tuesday off.
other than her, but like when it comes to like going out with like friends on the weekends or whatever, like there was really none of that going on.
No, we still were.
We still
were
were.
just going into work. You fell asleep on the couch the one day because you were so hungover.
I did do that once. That was back in the immature phase. But anyways, April 19th, 6,000 followers.
Yo, this was amazing. So we were driving up on my birthday on May 19th, and Complex Con put out an article with the 25 best sneaker stores in Canada, and we made, I think, number 7 on the list.
I'm not sure it was in order, by the way, but we did
Yeah.
technically make top 25, which was pretty crazy. You could think that like I opened this like small little store,
Yeah.
and it had top 25 sneaker stores in like all of Canada. And at that point, there was still way more than 25 sneaker stores in Canada. Like, it was a small thing for sure, like a more niche thing, but definitely wasn't like that niche. But there was probably like, there was well over like 100, 150 sneaker stores, I'd say, in Canada at that point.
Like Livestock was on the list.
Like Livestock,
Penshi was.
Out This World.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's get back to not so good again. June 15th, car gets robbed. So at this point, we have an apartment in Toronto that we're living at.
My apartment.
Her apartment in Toronto. I already moved in there for a brief period of time.
Yeah.
And I had just picked up about 15,000 worth of shoes the night before. I picked up shoes from someone, drove back to the apartment, and it was about 9 o'clock at night, and I was leaving. It's a private parking garage, by the way. I was leaving in the morning.
Key fob entry, that's it.
I was leaving in the morning around like 8 a.m. So I'm like, fuck, I'm not gonna bring all these shoes up to the apartment.
You got back at like 9.
I'm gonna lock my car. The car's 5% tin on it. You're not gonna be able to see in. Come back in the morning, drive home, nothing of it.
I walked down to my car in the morning, and I went to throw my purse on my passenger seat, and seen that there was glass all over my passenger seat, and I was like, what the fuck? I looked up and noticed that my window was smashed in my car, and I called you immediately, and I was like, babe, my car was broken into. Like, I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, I had like my overnight bag, because I just came from your house the weekend before. Like, I had all my stuff in the back seat, and I was panicking, and I was like, my Prada backpack was in the front seat, and that was stolen. And you were like, I was on my way back upstairs to meet with you, and you were like, what about my car? And then I went and looked at your car, and I said, get down here right now. Because literally all of your windows were literally out of your car. Like,
Yeah,
I have photos of this still.
So
like,
I have photos too. There was no windows left in my car.
No.
I basically had, I think, every single
It
pair
was so
taken.
fun.
There was probably like 45, 50 pairs. There was a lot of pairs of shoes in my car.
That's crazy.
Like,
Yeah.
it definitely sucked. So to get through that, it sucks. Insurance ends up paying me out, thankfully, for everything that's in my car. My store's insurance. June 15th is the robbery. June 18th is our 1-year anniversary.
Yeah.
We're like, fuck it. We're gonna have a great day. We have a crazy day again.
But
We had
you
a great turnout. We lost a couple of shoes that were supposed to be in the
Yeah.
sale in that car. Fuck it. We still moved on, and it was okay. Had a great day. Honestly, made up for everything that just happened. Obviously, I was in probably a shitty attitude,
Yeah.
frustrated, as this is robbery number 2, plus floods, plus like stupid things that have happened. This is just kind of from a perspective. It's not as easy as everyone thinks. Like, me included. I go into it. I'm like, oh, you're just selling clothes and shoes all day. Obviously, I realized very quickly that sourcing is very hard. Getting good inventory is hard. Getting people into keeping good inventory is definitely hard. Getting people into your store is hard. Figuring out how to actually sell the shit. Like, it's not easy to find the shit. Once you get the shit, you kind of find ways to find everything you're getting. but actually finding the people to buy your stuff, especially if you're buying and selling high ticket items or niche stuff that's like not everyday, like anyone can sell Nike sweaters and stuff like that. But it comes to like selling like $1,000 pairs of shoes or like expensive vintage clothing or like archive kind of streetwear stuff that's like kind of like niche stuff. It's like finding those kind of buyers that are like coming back and back and back to kind of like let you keep growing is definitely the hard part.
So then in August, I started working with you full time. And that's when like you wanted to start focusing more on online sales because in-store was doing really well. Like at that time, you were at like 6,000 followers, probably like 7,000 or 8,000 at that time, like in August.
Well, you started working...
I started working in August.
In August, and
Yeah.
then we had 9,000 followers by November, so I'd say anywhere between that.
Yeah. So like, and I started building the website, and then...
At this point, you had just started full-time as well.
Yeah. Well, like I was in store with you every day, but like I wasn't like actually like physically helping you with sales or anything. I was like on your laptop, pretty much just building the website for like a month straight.
She was just kind of helping on the side,
Yeah.
doing the website.
And
I was still running the in-store thing at this point.
The website launch was actually in September. I think it was September 1st. Like
At that point, it was September 1st, but like we weren't really like, everything wasn't into it yet, and it was kind of just like a rough start. Like
it actually made me like cry because like we launched the website, we put like some promotion behind it, and then like there was absolutely no sales.
There was no sales for like probably like 2 months off our website.
Yeah.
Like it was a slow
so
start.
bad.
It was a slow start for sure. There was a lot of work that went into it, and
Yeah.
like it was just obviously no reception. There was no promotion behind it, and like it took time for sure. At this point, the store was super full. We were like past, like it was only 700 square feet, so we were past capacity. We had no back
You had
room,
been
no
past.
change room at this point. Like after a year, we were like stuffed. And we ended up getting out of our old lease. I had a real estate agent walk in one day, and I was at the old store, and he was showing an apartment unit, because we were in an apartment building. I mean, people might not know that actually. We were actually located at the bottom of an apartment building in Waterloo, right beside the university. He came in, he's like, oh, I never saw this store, like, existed, whatever. He came in, he was like into shoes, whatever, so we started talking a little bit. And he's like, oh, I'm looking to, like, I'm a real estate agent. I'm like, oh, I have a unit down the street as well. I'm like, I'm actually looking to move and expand to a bigger store.
It was funny though. He started the conversation off by saying like, "Oh, if you're looking to upgrade, like, let me know." And we were like, "Yeah, we're looking to move because we wanted to get rid of the apartment."
And we were looking to like get somewhere bigger. So he ended up showing this place that was, when I say walking distance, like I mean we literally rolled the old racks down the street to the new store kind of thing. Like when we're like a 1 minute walk away from our old location kind of thing.
Yeah.
But we're right on the main street now versus being like 30
Side
seconds up the street on the side street. So it's like a complete night and day difference. Even though it's so close, it is a huge difference. So the first store was 700 square feet. He showed us a 2,700 square foot location. We ended up pretty much signing the lease as soon as we saw it. We kind of like fell in love with it right away. And it was like within the next week, I think we had signed the lease.
We walked into this place and we literally like were talking immediately about what we were gonna do. Like we walked in the front door and we were like, okay, the counter's gonna go there. Like, oh, the sneaker wall's gonna go literally here. Like, and there was a wall that like a half wall.
Okay, this was set up as like a
cafe.
A cafe slash like fun house for like university students to kind of relax at. This place sat vacant for a year, so it was kind of dirty inside.
Yeah.
It needed like a facelift, it needed paint, it needed a deep clean. And then we did like one renovation, just adding the wall back there. We painted the whole place, painted the ceilings, as you can see they're black now. The walls are all white. Kind of fell in love with this place, instantaneously got it. We pretty much signed the lease, negotiated. We signed the lease, we're getting ready to move in here. I think we're already in the process of actually moving shit here. And sure enough, what do you know? We had a homeless person break into our old store. As we were kind of in the process of, we've already signed the lease over here. This is at like 7 p.m. I'm pumping gas actually as this is happening. I won't forget this time. I am at a gas station pumping gas into my car. And I'm looking at my phone. I'm just probably scrolling my phone as I'm pumping my gas. And I see, obviously security alert, like no, like motion, whatever. I'm like, holy shit, like, there's no way it's happening. This is broad daylight. It is not dark out. It's 7 o'clock in like September. So it's still light out. And I'm like, fuck, there's no way. So I get over the cameras and I started screaming at this guy, like legitimately screaming at this guy.
Yeah. And then I was on the phone with the police at the same time as just screaming.
I know this. He drops everything and he like runs away. And we ended up like we got to from Cambridge to Waterloo maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes top. Like, we flew there, but we got there and the guy was so startled by us going over the microphones and like screaming at him and all this stuff. And basically, I don't think we lost anything. Maybe a couple. We lost a couple of things. Maybe like he stole a couple of hats or whatever. Like
He stole a Vintage Meetshype hat.
he stole one of our vintage beats. He basically got away with nothing. Like, we'll point in perspective, nothing really happened. Like, we kind of got blessed. The window was broken. We boarded up the window. We didn't really care at this point. We were kind of leaving the place anyway. So that's basically what it is. Like, nothing really happened. We got away lucky on that time just because of the stupidity of breaking at 7 o'clock at night when everyone was still awake and like the world was still running. So she was basically setting up this store for like those 2 weeks. And I was at the old store, running the store throughout the day, and then coming here at night and kind of helping her set up everything here. We were getting painters in, we were setting up racks, we were trying to figure out. Wall was built, we were setting up like just like display stuff. We were kind of trying to get the store set up as best as possible. I think we closed for about 6 days in between closing the old store and then opening the new store. It's about a 6-day period.
We were moving out of my apartment
and we were moving out of Toronto at the same exact time. Funny thing is, we are actually planning on living at the store. We could share that. This store is massive. It has 3 offices upstairs above me. And there's one that was pretty big. And we're like, oh, we can like live here. Crazy situation. We actually never even slept here. Maybe like once we slept here. It's between being into like, you never leave work. So like that system kind of went out the window very quickly.
Yeah.
And we needed the space as well. Let's skip ahead a little bit. Oh yeah, sorry, let's skip ahead. We had a great store opening, obviously, kind of where we got to.
Yeah.
Everything went great. We had a little celebration party here to kind of open the store beforehand.
Yeah,
Then we had a huge sale. So we opened on November 5th. Keep that in mind. November 30th, we had our first break-in here.
Wait, you're missing.
We had 9,000 followers a couple days before that. Get
It's
another
a
good milestone.
milestone.
We're
It's a
still
positive.
we're still growing, and it's like going great.
Yeah.
We wake up in the middle of the night, November 30th, to another break-in. Another homeless person.
We didn't, okay, so with this particular break-in, we didn't think that anything was stolen because I remember us watching the cameras and we didn't call the police for this. We seen that they stole the cash box over the cameras and we were like, okay, whatever. They got away with maybe...
We don't leave any cash here. To keep that there, maybe it was like 20 bucks. It was like maybe like toonies and loonies, a couple $5 bills, just a break change. Like we never actually leave any money here, obviously, as you never should at a retail store. We had a pair of 85. I had a pair of 85 Chicago's. My personal size 12 pair in the case, a super clean pair. Doesn't really matter. They stole them. They didn't obviously know what they were because it was just the way the whole store was laid out. They were kind of right by their back entrance that they were leaving through. Turns out they stole them. It sucked. We looked forever for them. I called every single pawn shop. I looked on Facebook for like 3 months straight. I wandered the streets.
I still have my Facebook notifications set to show any Jordan 12 or Jordan 1s in size 12.
It never happened. We never got them back. This is over a year later now. They're gone. We found out the next day they actually took 2 more jackets. Had a Cause puffer jacket, a Cause North Face puffer, and a Babe puffer jacket, also stolen. That was kind of it. Jamie came along. Jamie came along in April. At that point, we finished off the year, had a good rest of the year. We had a good Boxing Day sale. Again, chilling, nothing's going wrong. We were still getting growth on Instagram. We're kind of getting everything set up at the new store, getting settled in.
At this point, I feel like we were really comfortable though. Like, we were really comfortable to the point where it was like, we had a pretty large following on Instagram, like almost too comfortable.
At this point, we had the website as well.
Yeah.
The website was going as well. The website was slowly starting to pick up at this point. So we were making online sales, making in-store sales. The store was still very fresh and new. We were doing very well. We had a crazy December, we had a crazy Boxing Day, and it was going great. And then I think at this point we had hung out with Jamie. Actually, we'll let Jamie tell the situation. I know he remembers the situation.
For everyone who doesn't know this, I was actually making music before, and I quit my job and everything completely, and was literally selling vintage clothing and also making music, and thought I could make a living from that. Clearly it didn't work out. I did that for a couple months, and then I ran out of money, and then I got a sales job. A couple months passed by.
Tell him about the sales job.
Yeah, tell him
about the sales job.
Sales job was fucking terrible.
Tell him about the pyramid scheme.
I worked at a sales job for
You were in a
about...
pyramid scheme.
I was in a pyramid scheme, essentially, for like... Is that how you say it? Scheme? I don't fucking know. For like 3 months or so, basically, and I was essentially just selling credit cards. So, you know, like, if you ever been in a Canadian Tire before and someone walks up to you, that was me.
This fucking guy was
That's what I was doing. And I'm like, it was terrible, I can't even lie. Like, every day I was stressed about it, and it was like 100% commission and everything like that. I learned a lot from it, but I didn't really like the job. And then all of a sudden one day, I was selling clothes. I told Nick to like come over, and with Paige, they both came over.
And this was like, to kind of like put in perspective, you weren't selling clothes at this point.
No, I wasn't.
Like this was like, oh, like Jamie messaged me. He's like, oh, like I'm clearing out the last of like random inventory or personal clothing I had left over that I was looking
I
to
remember
sell.
that. You had the liquid blue tees, the Allison Wonder
Yeah.
ones.
Shout out Ralph.
Yeah.
He actually took those.
Yeah.
But this was like not you reselling clothing at this point. This was
No.
you like kind of like,
I was
hey,
done
Nick,
with
like
it.
take whatever like I have random shit I have left kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
I'm like this is like not that I'm done with this. I'm like I'm not doing this anymore.
I
Like
had
just come
nothing
take
left.
whatever random shit I have left over. I'm like okay, sure.
Yeah. And they came over, and then I don't even know. Like we were just talking about like.
Well, you basically
like,
told me you hated your job.
Yeah, I told them I didn't like what I was doing, and then they talked about the store.
I think we went home that night and we were like, we should hire Jamie.
No, I was
It
already
was like-
at this point. I think we already brought up when we were seeing you. We were like,
yeah, we like briefly went over it and like saying like you guys were basically saying like, oh, like, you know, like
We need
can-
time off.
Yeah, and, like
we need time off. We also wanted to open 7 days a week at this point.
Yeah.
And we needed more help. We needed help with like,
It's a big location.
well, like she was doing the website stuff all day long, uploading all the new inventory. At this point, we were grabbing a ton of inventory. I was basically doing all the in-store buying, selling, customer interactions. Like
there was a lot going on.
there was a lot going on, and this
Yeah.
is a 2,800 square foot store. So we were like starting to move some serious inventory. Like it was getting bigger than we could like two of us could handle.
Yeah.
And it came to the point where she eventually quit.
You quit your job the next day because I remember
Yeah.
there
You're
was a
pretty-
period.
you're
Dude,
pretty
I did.
ambitious.
If you guys don't know Alex, but Alex and I were both quit our. We actually both worked at Bulk Barn a long time ago together.
We still have people that
And-
come in that know you from Bulk Barn. Like, it happened
Yeah.
last week. Some guy came in. He's like, I know Jay from Bulk Barn. I'm like, okay.
Dude, we both got fired the same day, actually, technically. I think I told the manager to fuck off or something like that. And then we were selling clothes at the time, so we started doing that full time, and then it went downhill.
And
But
then
anyways,
Alex got banned from the rag house.
and then Alex got banned, and so on, just all this other bullshit.
And at the same time, it got way harder to find clothing. We'll
Yeah.
leave that out there.
And
like,
sell it in general, just
Yeah.
people buying it, it was just hard to sell. Like, not a lot of people were like super into it as they are
But he
now.
was buying wholesale off of both of you.
Yeah, so me and Alex were, and that's another thing too. So before I actually like initially started actually working here, we were wholesaling to Nick through just wholesaling vintage clothing and everything like that. Alex and I came here eventually after they came over to my
Yeah,
place
we were
and
like,
then
we
bought
wanna
stuff.
talk to you guys.
Yeah, and like we had to talk because they wanted us like both on board pretty much. And I guess kind of how it came out was like Alex was able to work part-time because we were trying to, like Paige said before, we were trying to open up 7 days a week. I got hired full-time, and I literally started working with them like a week later after I just fucking quit my job.
I remember.
You're like, oh, full time. You're like, I'm out of
Yeah,
here.
like, fuck this.
I remember we offered you both the same thing. And
Right.
then Alex was like, you know what, I like my job. Like,
Right, he
he's
wanted to
like,
stay.
Yeah, he's like, I want to stay at where I'm at. Like, I just
Yeah.
want to like work part time.
Yeah.
And he had his trip to Europe coming up anyway, so like
Yeah.
he wanted to do part time. And then you were like, I fucking hate my job. You're
Yeah.
like, I'm down for full time.
And
Literally.
then you basically started 5 days a week after that.
Yeah,
And-
eventually, yeah, so I started. Alex didn't start right away though, because I started working 5 days a week
With us.
with you guys
Yeah.
exactly every day, and then obviously we wanted to go to 7 days. So then when Alex was able to, he started working part-time with us. He was working the 2 days a week, which was Monday and Tuesday?
Mondays and Tuesdays, yeah.
Mondays and Tuesdays,
And then you were
that's
working Monday to Friday.
exactly. So that's when I switched from Monday to Friday instead of working on the weekends as well. And then we were kind of just running full-time 7 days a week. Yeah.
It was great. I mean, like,
Things
at that
were going
point,
well.
everything's going great with Jamie. We're probably like 2 to 3 months in with Jamie here as well. So all three of us are here full time. It's going great. Alex is also here working part time. You get this terrible alert. April 29th, we had a serious robbery. So this was not just a homeless person strolling in, taking a couple things, leaving. Like nothing like we can move on for that. This was like the whole front of the store got smashed. And at this point, this was not just our store that was getting robbed. There's probably 6 to 7 stores within
Yeah.
a month's time that have all been robbed throughout the GTA, up towards Mississauga area. Like, it was a bad time
Yeah.
for like anyone that owned resale stores.
And
Everyone
there's-
was getting robbed.
There were stores after us too.
There were stores before and after us, and we lost about, I'd say realistically, like 15,000 worth of stuff.
Yeah.
We had all of our front windows smashed. We had 2 other windows smashed. Like, they were like malicious, and we all came in. Jamie actually called us in the middle of the night because I guess we didn't wake up to the initial alarm going off.
I woke up. Most terrifying
Yeah.
fucking sound you'll ever
Okay.
hear.
What
Fucked
happened was we went to bed at like 2, and then the alarm went off at 3. So
Yeah.
we were in a deep sleep because like
Yeah,
we had
and I was
just
awake.
fallen asleep.
I remember it was so weird
Yeah.
because I was awake that whole
I
night.
remember
It was
you
weird.
tried calling him, he didn't wake up, so you called me.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I answered, and you were like, the store's getting broken into right now, like,
What do we
right now,
do?
I'm watching it. And like, we were like, what the fuck? So we like rushed up and like called the police, and like, we all got here. I think you got here, we got here at the same
Yeah.
time, like, and we all were just like freaking out. And at the time, like, we had shorter like front
We didn't
gates.
have like proper front. We had gates at the
We
front,
had
but like
gates.
not enough to deter someone. But we didn't have like
Proper.
again, we're on a very main street now, so we
Yeah.
didn't expect this to happen. And like I said, we just weren't prepared as much as. You always think like you have enough, or no one's gonna like. You
Exactly.
think better, like oh, no one's gonna break into your store, no one's gonna do this, no one's gonna do that, or whatever. It happens.
Prepare for the worst.
Always
Literally.
prepared. Like if I can
For the
preach
worst.
one thing to any store owner or someone that's starting doing this, prepare for the worst. Especially if you're on a main street, especially if you're selling expensive clothing that's not vintage. So I was trying to reinsure the new store, getting everything switched over. It was kind of time for our renewal date. And at this point, this happened in April, and I was getting ready to renew the store's insurance. At this point, it's gone up like 3 times the price, at least. And I'm talking to insurance, and like, oh, like you're high risk, you've had like 3 claims this year, or whatever. They're not happy with what's going on. They think that we've kind of done fraud, or like,
When the funny thing is that we didn't.
we haven't done fraud,
We
obviously.
literally
These were
didn't.
legitimate like break-ins, but they were thinking like, oh, it's a new business, all this and that. Like you're making huge claims, like you guys probably aren't doing good, and like you're like just trying to get more money out of us, kind of thing. Obviously, that wasn't the case. But when this break-in came in, I was already in the terms of finalizing the policy,
Renew.
and then I called them like literally the day before I was about to sign this lease, and like we literally got broken into again. And that was a whole fiasco. Like, they didn't want to insure us, they didn't want to cover the clothing. Thankfully, I ended up fighting with them, and eventually we did at a very high cost compared to the first year, like over 4 times what we were paying before. Our deductible now is very high, and like it sucks, but it's like it's not as easy as people think. But it comes down to like, oh, like you get robbed, like oh, but like if people will walk
You
in
have
after they see the board, the door boarded up for months, obviously, because it takes time to get the glass repaired, because it's all custom sizing. People will walk in, oh, you have insurance, right? Though I'm like, yeah, like I'll brush it off, like yeah, we do, whatever. But like it's not as easy. Like anyone that's had a store like this broken into knows you need to provide receipts,
Yeah.
proof of what you had stolen, proof of like what it was, where you got it from, when you got it, exactly how much you paid. You don't get paid out for your selling amount, you get paid for your cost. So it's like that whole gray period of like trying to get like, as much out of insurance as possible, trying to be legitimate.
Like, we were all stressed, we were also paranoid. We were keeping up with all the stores that were getting broken into. We were trying to help the police with all the ongoing investigations into the other break-ins as well as our own. We were trying to find all of our stuff on Marketplace. Like, we were just trying to like do anything that we could. We were stressed, and like after any break-in, we don't sleep for months. Like
Yeah.
straight up, we don't sleep. Anytime our phone goes off, like we freaking rush up out of bed and like stare at our phone. Our freaking humidifier makes the same noise sometimes as the alarm does when it goes off on your phone. And we like rush up out of bed every single time that it goes off, or like every single time that happens. Like it's not a fun time, it's fucking stressful.
Definitely.
It's so stressful.
I'll never forget what that sound is.
Oh my
I'll
God,
never
no,
forget.
it's
Anyone
not
that's, I'm sure there's some people that will be watching this video that have known what that sound is. And
Yeah.
It's terrifying, bro.
Awful.
being woken up in the middle of the night to that is just never what you want. April 29th is when that whole fiasco went down.
Yeah.
Move on. May 6th. We have a notification come in, someone attempted to break in. We realized they didn't actually get in, but they kicked one of the boards so hard that it set the glass break detection off. Thankfully, nothing happened. We were scared shitless in the middle of the night
We
again.
still came here that night.
We still came to make sure, obviously, nothing happened. Moved on. That's what it is. Anyways, we're moving on. We won't highlight the negative so much. We're having a great year so far. Everything's going great. We're doing lots of content. I think we started a YouTube channel at this point.
Yeah.
Everything's going swell. We're approaching our 2-year anniversary at this point, which is crazy to think. We're in the new store. We've kind of settled in. We've done a lot more like design stuff here. We've like really kind of came a long way. We're definitely past 10,000 followers at this point. And obviously our 2-year anniversary is gonna be June 19th or 18th, whatever, how like it falls on the weekend. June 4th happens. We're obviously kind of pretty, at this point we're prepared. We have all the shoes set aside, all the deals are ready. We had a homeless guy break in very early morning. This was like
9 a.m. It was 9 a.m.
It was 9 a.m.
Fuck.
actually.
I was literally in the bathroom at the time. I was on the toilet and the fucking notification went on.
Broke in.
Daylight.
Daylight, 9 a.m. Anyways, I obviously speed to the store. I was like just about to be waking up at this point, and I get there, and I'm outside with the cops, and the cops are like, "Oh, we have him inside the building still," and I'm like, "Holy shit! Like this is the first time I'm gonna catch somebody doing this." So I'm standing outside with the cops, like twiddling my thumbs, like watching the cameras inside now, like looking into the store.
And they don't let you go inside.
They don't let you go in, or whatever. And it turns out we're like, literally like I'm like circling the building, like trying to see like if this guy's gonna come out, because there's a bunch of entrances and exits to leave this building. And sure enough, I'm like scrolling through the in-store footage. Like at this point, they've allowed me into the store. Someone comes out the back door, and the cops are standing out there, and they set him down. They have this guy detained that they think is a suspect, and they're basically waiting for me to provide something enough to like prove like I know it's him. I can just you can tell by the way like. Not to be judgmental, but you can kind of tell like he's a homeless guy. Like he shouldn't be in this building full of students. Like it's not his
student residence.
This is a student residence in, by the way.
And
This
he's
is like
a
their apartment
middle-aged
building.
man.
It's everything like the way he was like dressed and like not dressed, but like he's like dirty. Like you can tell that he's not supposed to be in this building. So I basically run into the store, try to find any footage I can. I'm on my phone scrolling. Like we're both digging through the footage, both of us. And I go up to one of like our control panels, and he tried to cut the wire on. It turns out.
So before that though, you sent me, like you called me and said, is there any footage that you have? And I had footage of him going up the stairs, and you could see his shorts hanging out from his sweatpants, and he had red shorts on.
Underneath his like gray sweatpants or whatever.
Yeah.
So like it was basically enough to prove it. The cops had already they were believing me at this point. They were believing me at this point this was the guy, and I pulled up the control panel. I had an actual. You know what? Fuck it. We'll pop a fucking photo up on the screen. Maybe I'll even show the guy. I have a picture of the guy detained on the ground too, and I show the officer. Me and the cops are literally like we're laughing at this point. At this point, we've recovered everything. He didn't get away with much, and everything he had was in the building or outside. So at this point we were very stressed.
His bag of stuff.
Oh.
So I think we'll get there. So at this point we've recovered everything. I show the cops that this is the guy. We get obviously his face like right into our camera. So like it's a done deal. Like we know it's him. Like he's getting arrested kind of thing. And me and this guy kind of get into a yelling match. The guy that broke in, like fuck you. Like do you see who you're stealing from? You're stealing from fucking
No,
kids.
he yelled at you first.
No, I yelled at him first.
Why would you do that?
Cause fuck him. Like I was angry. I was angry. Like this is like as you guys have seen throughout the video, we've had so much shit like thrown at us, and we've never actually been able to really catch people. Yeah. So the fact that I was able to finally catch someone in the act kind of thing,
well,
like
no, we did catch the people that broke into our cars. The police in Toronto just didn't do anything.
Anyway, this is the first time recovering the items on hand and like getting to see the guy like right in front of me kind of thing. So I let him out. I was screaming at him, whatever. And he was screaming back at me. It was a whole little funny thing. And the cops were all standing behind me, like kind of like letting this go on. Because like at this point, the cops had already knew who we were.
Yeah,
They've been to the store many times, and like we've been through so much shit. So like, not to say we're friends with the cops, but like
they know us.
I got a couple of business cards to my wallet, to say the least. So I take a photo of this guy outside. We'll pop up on the screen. Fuck this guy. But me and the cops are like searching the area after, and we find a bag of. Well, I'll get into it. So a sex shop was robbed right around the corner from us, maybe 5 minutes. And what did we and the cops find in the parking garage? A whole bag of sex toys, lingerie, a whole lot of other real kinky weird shit.
Bro, who
and
robs
me and the cops are literally like laughing. At this point, like it's 9 in the morning. We caught the guy. The guy's already in the car getting arrested. He's gone.
He's
and
got
me and
like
the cops,
a lot of cash and debit cards and shit too.
He actually had some like serious money on him too. Like probably like $1,000 for like a homeless guy. It's quite a bit. He had all my money too. Like all my like random fives and like toonies. Like it wasn't like much money at all, but like we got all that shit back too.
I remember you were honest though, and the cop handed you more money than was in the register, and you were like,
nah,
no, only
this
much was mine.
I should have told him it was all mine, to be fair, because it was actually he had a whole stack of 20s as well in his bag. Anyways, we got everything back. We moved on. It was great. June 18 comes around. Another great sale. At this point, this is our huge, like the best line we've had so far. We probably had like 300 to 400 people in line, I'd say. We had it like wrapped around the whole store, back to like the behind parking lot.
The Boxing Day sale though, we didn't mention, but we had people camping out in tents in a snowstorm.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
Yeah.
That was so crazy.
This one, we'll shout out the guy actually. I'll pull up his Instagram, I'll put him on the screen actually. Shout out. He's a real supporter.
Oh.
I know his name is Holden. shout out to you, you're a legend. He camped out 26 hours
Yeah.
at least. We'll shout out Rishi as well. Another OG camper. He always camped outside of the store. I remember you guys for a long time. He camped out for 26 hours outside of the store for our 1 year anniversary, or 2 year anniversary. Got to Travis Mo, because we'll pop up some pictures of the strings. I'm sure we have some memorable content from that. Great sale though. Hugest line, best sale day ever. Like, it's a great way to like kind of move past the last break-ins and everything. Like, it was a nice like sigh of relief. July 29th, we have this probably honestly sucked a little bit more than the break-ins, especially for the first while. Now we've kind of moved on, we're doing okay again. We lost our Instagram page, and we had, I think, 11.8 or almost about 12,000 followers, to say the least. And our account was doing great. Like, we were getting really good interaction. Like, it was a very lively account. We were making a lot of website sales through our Instagram. One morning, I woke up and I like nearly had a fucking heart attack. I saw the Instagram email and it was like so random. Suspended. And if you know how Instagram works, when you're suspended, 9 times out of 10 you're not getting your account back. So basically, it was gone. We'll get to like that, it was gone. They lost Instagram completely, basically zero warning, zero anything, nothing we could do about it, it was gone.
Yeah. And so we had Soul Exchange the weekend that this happened. So this happened during the week, and we had Soul Exchange on the weekend, and we had talked to a few people that worked at Facebook and Meta, and they told us not to make a new Instagram account because they were like, if you use the same email, there's a chance you don't get your Instagram account back. Like, they were basically just saying like, just hold out until Instagram responds to you because you might get your account back. So we didn't make a new account. And
at this point, like obviously, like if you know these kind of businesses, you kind of run your shit off your Instagram. You post every day that you're open. You post your new inventory every day. You post to your website. Like, everything's kind of linked through your Instagram. Your Instagram is kind of like your hub. Obviously, you have a YouTube channel, maybe your TikTok or like YouTube Shorts, or you have a website, or you have a Grail, or you have something that you're like pushing, but it's usually stemming from Instagram directly. Anyone nowadays that has a business, a small business, whether you're a restaurant, you're like a clothing store, you're anything, like you're using Instagram, a club. You're using Instagram to promote like your events, what you're doing.
It's
like
the main source of marketing.
Main source of marketing. Easy and simple, like
well,
that.
it's connected to Facebook now anyway. Like, so
we lost that. Anyways, it sucked. We didn't even start another one for a long time. We saw a huge decline in everything. Like our website sales slowed right down because no one even knew. They
literally went down like 68%.
Because we I imagine that we're posting every day on Instagram for over 2 years at this point. People are used to seeing us on their stories, on their timeline every single day for 2 years straight, and we had almost 12,000 followers. So like people were like used to it, like interacting with us, buying from us, selling to us, messaging us. Like we had a lot of interaction going on like daily. We're getting probably like 30, 40 DMs a day, website sales coming in daily, and to have it all like completely stopped. And people have no idea at this point too. Now imagine that you follow like say 500 people, the average person follows 500 people. You don't notice one account goes away. Unless you're like a diehard. Obviously there's a couple people that did realize right away that we were gone. But like the average people like don't realize that you're not there anymore. So then slowly people start to forget about you and all this stuff. And
to make matters worse, we moved locations. So if people remembered where we were located, we're not even there anymore.
That's another big thing. We had only been at this location for a couple months now. So like it really sucked because people were still going to our old store. People didn't really know exactly where we were. Yeah. Thankfully, this new location really helped us in the fact that we got so much more extra foot traffic. And our website has still been established enough where we're still making online sales, but it's slowed down a lot. Basically, what happened, we have to remake a new Instagram. I fought tooth and nail for a long time to get the old Instagram back.
And Soul Exchange was awful because everyone kept coming up and being like, oh, do you guys have Instagram? Do you guys have Instagram? And we're like, we actually just lost our Instagram account and we haven't made it.
That was almost like the whole break-in thing over again. Like, oh, what happened to your Instagram? Instead of people saying, oh, like, what happened to your store? Like, the outside of it. People were like, oh, like, what happened to your Instagram? What's your Instagram page?
We pretty much just bit the bullet and started a new Instagram account. And obviously, we focused a lot of time on that, focusing on like making reels and short form content, just trying to grow as quickly as possible back to the point we were before.
When the first initial Instagram started, it was easy. Like, there was not a lot of people reselling.
Back in the day, like, not as many people were reselling and everything like that, and especially because it's a local area, like it was a bit easier to grow than it is nowadays because obviously so much more people are reselling, so many people are on social media making their own accounts and everything like that.
TikTok has kind of became a thing now.
Yeah, and even TikTok like itself too, like it was super easy to grow on when it first came out, and even for the first couple years, and it's not impossible to grow nowadays, but it's definitely a lot harder because so many people are on it now, right? So yeah, obviously it was a pain in the ass, like trying to get the Instagram back up. And I mean, pretty much the way we did it, we just stuck to our old plan where we posted every day and posted on stories, and we pretty much just kept to like the same thing as we were doing before. And then we were trying to do giveaways, and whenever we hit milestones and everything like that, which helped us out. And even now, I think to this present day, we're almost back at 4,000 followers. So even then, till this point, we've gained 4,000 followers, which isn't terrible, but it's like,
it's still salty to like sit back and think that like at this point we probably would have been passing like 20, 25, like with like the way we were growing before, that we had like a really like good account that was like really growing fast.
Exactly.
And like if we've grown to another 4,000 now, like we would have been like, I'd say at least over 20,000 easily. It's just like with how good the content was, how much we were pumping out at that point, like
the ball was rolling at that point, and it was easier to grow as we grew more.
And we were already super established, so like it wasn't like hard to keep growing at this point. But like when we got shot back to zero, it was definitely like a whole new grind. It sucked. Basically, we've moved on now. It was definitely a wake-up call. We're onto a new account. Let's bounce ahead. Let's get to some more positive stuff. That's not positive. September 29th, we're onto another negative thing. What do we have, JV? Tell them. Read the sheet. Guess, guys.
Another break-in.
Another break-in. At this point, we think we're so secure. We're like, oh, we got this shit locked down.
We hired someone literally the day before this. We hired another employee who lives in the building, but we didn't give him the login to the security system that day.
Because we were like, whatever, he hasn't even started a day yet, we didn't want to give him the security login, whatever it may be. Poor mistake on our part. 3 homeless guys break in. They actually get away with a decent amount of stuff.
Yeah, they stole pretty much
a good amount of stuff. And we ended up finding some of the stuff back out on the street, around the building, whatever. We won't get too far into this one. Kind of the same situation. Police didn't really do much to help us. Next thing we'll get into, we collectively have started a timeless market throughout the year to get to more positive stuff. So us and JobSpot had created a group. We always had kind of been doing like small markets in each city for vintage clothing. We've done how many now? No, we did Burlington first.
Yes.
We did Waterloo. We did Hamilton, and we threw it back to Waterloo again at the end of the year.
And we did Toronto.
We did
true.
We did Toronto too. We did 5 events then. They've all been amazing events, to say the least. We've all done very well. We've built that account up to I think about over 1,000 followers. I would say we had anywhere from 200 to 500 people kind of coming out to each event. So we're having super great turnouts. We're having about 10 to 15 vendors per event. The last event was definitely our best one in Waterloo. I would say we're biased, obviously. But Hamilton and Waterloo, our last 2 times events, were definitely.
Toronto was amazing too.
Toronto was amazing too. Actually, Toronto was
unexpectedly amazing.
Toronto was definitely like our biggest like kind of like risk when it comes to our timeless market, because none of us physically had stores in Toronto. So we're kind of like hoping that our vendors in Toronto were promoting, but also just our like ads, like doing like lots of Instagram ads, lots of Instagram reels. Crazy promo, crazy inventory being brought. So these timeless events are actually going great for us. So, like we were super happy. Like this is kind of a proud thing that we had all started, and they've been amazing. We have huge plans coming up for this year as well. We're almost getting down to the end of this. The sneaker market is down, as I'm sure everyone has noticed, that if you're selling sneakers, like the sneakers are shifting. Popularity is always shifting when it comes to everything we're selling. Sneakers right now definitely aren't reselling as much. They're sitting on shelves more. The releases aren't quite as great, or as at least hyped in the sense of like that aspect of resale. Vintage clothing is definitely shifting in a sense where like people are gravitating towards different things. A couple of years ago, we were selling straight sports crew necks, sports tees, Harley stuff, like NASCAR. It's getting to the point where like, people are like more.
There's a lot of new trends that are happening very fast.
Yeah.
New trends are happening very fast. People are not getting sick of some of the more like cookie cutter stuff. It's just like people are experimenting often in different things. And that just kind of comes down to us as well. Like. Selling new styles of stuff. Upstairs as well as all vintage clothing for women now.
It's hard to have stuff in stock like that appeals to the general public. Yeah, like because you don't really know what's trending because everything is kind of trending all at once.
Not even everything and nothing at the same time is trending. There's always going to be
strange.
We're always going to be selling windbreakers and like Carhartt jackets, workwear style, t-shirts, like stuff like that. Like the basic like stuff like that. It's just like always trying to stay on top of like bringing in the newest, like, hottest items, whether it be like leather jackets have been very popular. Like I said, workwear has been popular for the last couple of years, but it's very popular right now. contemporary style. It's just like Adidas Sambas and like the Gorp core and like kind of like the blow core trend is like stuff that's all been popular in the last year that hasn't always been popular, and trying to adapt and change to like these trends to bring in like the items that everyone's like seeing on TikTok being styled and like really popping off kind of thing.
So yeah, it's now January 2024. A few months ago, we actually got a rag house, so it definitely has helped us a lot. We've gotten a lot of more inventory. If you guys haven't noticed, if you've been in the shop, and if you haven't, well, you should. But
More shop online.
More shop online.
24/7 worldwide.
But yeah, the rag house has definitely helped us a lot. Like I said, we have more inventory as well, so that's been going really good for us. That's a big plus, and we're hoping that continues throughout 2024 as well.
I think we've about wrapped up this. This video is probably gonna be a long watch. We hope everyone has enjoyed it so far. It's been a long journey to say the least. We kind of want to create this video. These days don't just consist of working 12 to 7 or when we're open, or like there's a lot of like someone's listing all these products, someone's making all these reels, someone's listing all this inventory. Like there's a lot of stuff. Like someone's negotiating for all these items, someone's cleaning all the items, like washing all this stuff. Like there's a lot of moving parts behind the scenes, packing up the orders, like that no one gets to see as well. When it comes to like store, like
the reality of it,
the break-ins, like the store flooding, like the power going out, or like it's just like
haven't
small.
Had heat for 2 years in this location.
Not 2 years. Like we had it last year for a little bit.
For
It's just like the small things of battling with landlords for small issues going on in your units, or fighting with your insurance companies, or figuring out how to be a corporation, or how to file your taxes. It's just like the small details behind these things that people don't get to see, but every business owner is going through.
I think everything that we've been through just teaches you to appreciate everything.
And to work
never
harder.
To take anything for granted.
Yeah.
That everything can seem so great and you can be doing so good, but in the blink of an eye, like you can have something major happen that is like a huge setback. At the same time, like you can't ever be prepared for everything, but like this kind of business, you're never gonna know what's gonna happen. And that's the same for every business. Like you never know what's gonna happen.
There's goods and bads every day. You have good days, you have bad days, and that's basically what it is. Like not every day is gonna be a crazy day.
Yeah, you have to take the good with the bad, and you have to be able to appreciate your supporters. You have to be able to appreciate the people that are still choosing to come to you, even though they have other options. Yeah, and bad things happen so that you can appreciate the better times.
Final remarks, Jamie.
If you're watching this and you're planning on creating your own business, I mean, obviously, definitely
ask a local business owner.
Yeah, like get as much information as you can, and take as much information as you can from this video. Yeah, like there's just so much that goes on. Even us, I'm sure there's so much more in the future that we haven't came across yet, the good and bad. And honestly, just having a business it's a roller coaster. So if you're planning on doing it, you better be ready for it.
Be prepared. Anyways, if you made it to the end of this video,
wow,
we appreciate you all. This has been a long ass video. Probably gonna be a lot of editing for this man right here.
Yeah.
This
pray
is
for Jamie.
pray for
If
Jamie.
you made it to the end of the video, comment pray for Jamie.
Yeah, exactly. Literally pray for Jamie if you made it to the end of this video. We just want to inspire everyone that's watching this. Let everyone know that it's not as easy as it seems. Not as easy as seeing the Instagram post, the YouTube post, the reels, whatever it may be. We hope we can inspire some of you guys to achieve your goals, do your best, try to do what you're passionate about. We love you all. We appreciate everyone that supported us from day one, yesterday, this morning. Like anyone that supported us, whether you actually bought something from us, shared our profile, liked our account, commented, followed, any of the above. We appreciate you. Thank you. We still have a lot more to come this year. This is only the beginning of 2024. It's going to be a great year. Say goodbye, Valency. Peace.